The man started with the Emperor card but chose to play a lesser card instead. He expected his opponent to take the bait only to be left speechless in the next second. His opponent had played a citizen card as well. Clearly his strategy had been seen through from the start. With only 3 cards left, Kaiji was consumed by a wave of panic. If they drew with citizens again, his chances of winning would plummet to 50-50. Determined to settle the round, he braced himself for the next move. All the while he prayed fervently that his opponent would play a citizen, but his look of sheer desperation had already been read by Tonegawa. Tonegawa even began to voice Kaiji's innermost thoughts. Then he revealed the long-awaited slave card. The sight left Kaiji completely paralyzed with shock. Could it be that this man truly has the power to read minds? But there was no time for reflection. As a loser of this gamble, he was about to face a brutal punishment. As the steel needle drove deeper and deeper, a nerve-shredding screech echoed in his head as Kaiji clutched his ears in agony, screaming uncontrollably. His cries filled the entire hall until the needle finally came to a halt. Only then did he begin to catch his breath. Just as Tonegawa was basking in his victory, the chairman spoke from behind, telling him to know when to show restraint. While psychological pressure can help unmask an opponent, if Kaiji is driven to lose his fighting spirit through terror, the chairman would be robbed of the thrill of the gamble. Hearing this, a sudden realization struck Kaiji. Turns out Tonegawa wasn't reading his mind at all. He had simply voiced Kaiji's fears before the cards were played, and used his facial reactions to confirm the hidden cards. Exposed, Tonegawa felt a surge of respect he hadn't expected. That Kaiji could deconstruct his psychological tricks in such a short time. However, Tonegawa claimed that was only half right, for he truly could read his opponent's mind. It all stemmed from his 20 years of gambling experience. What goes through the minds of those teetering on the edge of life and death? The tremors of the soul manifest in their body language, and he could see right through it all. Kaiji's nature and habits were already within his grasp. Enraged by Tonegawa's arrogance, Kaiji seethed with anger. He's acting so high and mighty after winning just 1 round. Just wait, old man, I'm going to make you howl in despair. He gathered the Emperor's side cards and retreated to the restroom to examine them closely. He'd rather believe the cards were marked than accept that Tonegawa could actually read minds. Yet, even after a thorough inspection, he found nothing suspicious. Refusing to give up, he returned to the gambling table. But Tonegawa had already seen through his petty suspicions. Tonegawa claimed he'd never stoop to such low-level tricks. True masters fight on the battlefield of the mind. The game continued. Playing it safe, Kaiji wagered to test the waters. Then placed a citizen card face down. It was a draw. Kaiji smirked at the result. That bastard. The old geezer was just bluffing after all. If he could really read minds, he would have played the Emperor and won instantly. Hope flared up within Kaiji. As long as he kept a poker face and didn't show any weakness, the outcome was still undecided. After a moment's thought, Kaiji confidently placed a card face down. He predicted that Tonegawa would play the Emperor in the 2nd round. This round offers the highest probability of winning otherwise if it drags into the 4th round, and the initial 80 win rate will plummet to 50.
Just a little more.
There it goes, hum. 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 Thumbs. There's it happened yet.
Kaiji's hopes were misplaced after all. Tonegawa pressed the remote, and the steel needle drove deeper into his ear. The piercing sound of it drilling plunged Kaiji into agonizing pain. Suddenly the room's door swung open, revealing the group of injured companions from before. Clearly, Tonegawa intended to make an example of Kaiji, showing them that defying the Tai group only leads to ruin. Having lost 2 rounds in a row, Kaiji was spiraling into despair. Gazing at the hopeless slave card in his hand, he felt as if he were adrift on a vast, endless sea. Without a sense of direction, he was certain to meet a watery grave. Before deciphering his opponent's pattern, Kaiji wagered another 2 mm as a probe. To this, Tonegawa remarked, "Why not bet Jazlam? Wouldn't that be even safer?" Those words stung Kaiji. After all, as the protagonist of this story, betting too cowardly would make him look pathetic to the viewers. And so, driven by his own bravado, Tonegawa laid down his card for the round. Then it was Kaiji's turn, but he was utterly paralyzed by doubt. His opponent's unpredictable strategy from the previous round had completely shattered his carefully constructed tactical defenses. In this round, the cards felt impossibly heavy, and his thoughts were a tangled mess. Ultimately, he made the conservative choice and played a citizen. When he saw that Tonegawa had also played a citizen, a wave of relief washed over him as if he had just cheated death, to which Tonegawa taunted, "Exciting, isn't it? A game like this, designed to probe the depths of one's heart, is the only way to truly facilitate a dialogue between souls."
真実か何のカード確かに思う父武器横 I'm sorry is what I said.
Now for the summary and analysis of this episode. Tonegawa's so-called mind reading is no supernatural power, but rather a systematic form of psychological analysis. His 20 years of gambling experience, specifically the database formed by observing countless people in despair, allows him to accurately predict instinctive reactions under pressure. He sees through not the cards but the fixed patterns of human nature in extremes. Furthermore, Tonegawa is a master of context manipulation. Through verbal provocation and displays of punishment, he actively forces Kaiji into a predetermined state of desperation. Ensuring Kaiji's mental activity falls right into his expected patterns. Initially, Kaiji preferred to believe the cards were marked, rather than face the sheer cruelty of psychological warfare. As his opponent's actions repeatedly defied his logical expectations, his confidence was utterly shattered. The remaining slave card in his hand was more than just a weak card. It represented his total psychological enslavement. Stripped of the ability to think proactively, he could only react with passive and paralyzing fear.